God says $36 trillion is yours. Claim it now. 25 seconds left. Prayer for money. Beloved child, I'm speaking to you, directly to your heart, because before 11 p.m. tonight something truly monumental will tilt in your favor, not by chance and not by hype, but by the decree of the Lord who provides. He has sealed a proclamation in gold and fire with your name etched in light that does not fade. And even if you've scrolled past 1,000 promises that felt hollow, pause here, because heaven itself is whispering. This one is for you. You know it, because the timing is precise and your spirit is stirring. You've been running, searching, and aching for a sign, and now, right now, confirmation meets you like dawn after a long night. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. So tell me where you're watching from, and let your name and your place be lifted in a financial prayer that marks this turning point. And as you do, set your mind to receive, because when you say yes, you aren't agreeing with a person's opinion, you're aligning with a promise. You waited when it wasn't popular. You planted seeds when no one applauded. You wiped tears where no one could see, and you whispered, Lord, when will it be my turn? Hear me, your turn is now, not because of a gimmick, but because delay does not mean denial, only design. For he has been preparing you not just to receive wealth, but to govern it, since the blessing of the Lord brings wealth, and he adds no sorrow with it. Before this day ends, the spirit of dominion is touching your atmosphere, so your mindset rises from survival to stewardship, from scarcity to sonship. You will speak like abundance, act like one whom heaven has endorsed, and walk like someone trusted with the keys to doors others only press their faces against. What's coming is not mere currency. Money is a tool, not a master, but control over flows of value, favor, and opportunity. A holy shift from laboring under systems to ruling resources with wisdom. You shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth. As that power settles on you, the hands of the devourer fall away. Every theft is exposed. Every delay is reversed sevenfold. Each betrayal and overlooked moment noted by the one who keeps perfect records. Payback begins tonight, quietly at first, like the soft hum before the city lights flick on, and then unmistakably, in approvals you didn't lobby for, in calls you didn't chase, in ideas that arrive fully formed like packages on your doorstep. And why you? You ask, because when others chased applause, you sought his face. When fame was the bait, you chose purpose. When vanity towers glittered, you built altars of trust. That alignment, not luck, not favoritism, has opened what angels call the vault of dominion, a chamber sealed not by money but by obedience. Your obedience, your yes in the dark, has been the key. Now, from that vault, 36 trillion portions of influence, open doors, contracts, lands, ideas, and creative wealth begin to flow. Not as chaos, but as a river with banks. Not as noise, but as order. God is not the author of confusion, but of clarity. As it flows, you will feel it as calm boldness, a quiet certainty saying, "It's already mine, for my God will supply all your needs according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus." Where fear once spoke, faith will answer with authority. Yet hear this part clearly, because this is where modern life tests the soul. You are not entering a season of blessing only. You are stepping into the office of abundance. And an office comes with responsibility. In practical terms, that means you'll establish rhythms, budgeting that honors God, generosity that stretches your comfort, due diligence that protects your household, and skill growth that multiplies what you hold. Because in this economy of inflation spikes, volatile markets, spiraling bills, and every phone buzzing with urgent offers, the wisest stand still long enough to listen, and then move with precision. Start with a simple financial prayer in the morning and at night. A daily prayer for money that is less about getting and more about guiding. Less about panic and more about partnership. Say, Lord, order my steps, open my eyes to leaks in my spending, raise up partners for my work, and show me where to sow and where to stop. Then pair that prayer with action. List your debts, call your lenders, negotiate rates, plot a payoff path, automate savings, and set aside a tithe or a dedicated generosity line so your heart remembers the source. Because the moment you treat the flow as yours alone, it stagnates. But the moment you let it pass through you, it multiplies. See, wealth will now respond to your spirit. Markets will bend toward your assignment, and resources will rearrange to serve your calling. Not because you chant a phrase, but because you adopt a posture. So keep your posture grounded. Avoid get-rich-quick schemes that prey on late-night fatigue. Read contracts carefully. Ask trusted counsel for review. Protect your credit, and build multiple streams that fit your design. One from your primary skill, one from productized knowledge, one from assets that appreciate, and one from giving that returns as favor in unexpected corridors. Give, and it will be given to you a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Luke 6:38 is not poetry only, it's a principle of motion. Since you are being established as a channel, not a collector, what the Lord places in your hands will not stop with you, but move through you to families, teams, and even cities. Funding visions, underwriting scholarships, incubating small businesses, and stabilizing households that were one bill away from collapse. That is why your voice must mature with your influence. Speak blessing over employees, fairness over contracts, integrity over deals, and faith over forecasts. Every word you release in faith carries purchasing power in the unseen. About the ledger language you felt in your spirit, every unseen ledger in heaven's bank tilted to your favor has a mirror in daily decisions. To mirror it, build a wisdom ledger on earth. Track income, expenses, giving, investing, and development time, and review it weekly as worship. Let the Sabbath teach your money to rest, because rest resets your imagination and keeps you from hustling in circles. When anxiety rises, it will try. Step aside for a 90-second financial prayer, the kind of prayer for money miracle that breaks panic's grip. Father, you are my source, not the market. Give me the next wise step, and then take exactly that step, no more, no less. You will find that obedience outperforms adrenaline. Furthermore, you must internalize that sovereignty is not hoarding, but directing. Like a conductor guiding sections of an orchestra, you'll see your accounts, partnerships, and projects respond when you lift the baton of clarity. That includes saying no to deals that compromise your values, not now to good things that are out of timing, and a firm yes when God's peace aligns with open doors. Do not underestimate the quiet hour tonight, because heaven often wires miracles in silence. You will sense a still, firm peace that feels like power, and that is your receipt. Keep it. Because you asked for the practical intertwined with the prophetic, here's a simple rule of life to anchor the overflow. Seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Translate that into your calendar by putting God first in minutes and money. 10 minutes of scripture and thanksgiving before screens. 10% generosity before expenses, and 10 lines of gratitude before the day ends. Gratitude turns on the light in rooms where fear hides. If you do business, conduct it like a believer who knows that contracts are covenant echoes. Write fairly, pay promptly, and price with dignity, trusting that righteous margins invite righteous clients. If you're employed, treat your role like seed in fertile soil. Add more value than you cost. Learn what your leaders fear and help solve it. Keep records of your wins. And when it's time, present them with grace, asking boldly because you have not, because you ask not. If you're between jobs, keep moving. Volunteer a few hours to hone skills, build a portfolio that speaks before you enter the room, and network without groveling. Your worth is not on clearance. Through it all, keep a living prayer for money journal where you log petitions and outcomes, because memory fuels momentum. Twice a week, return to a short financial prayer of alignment. Lord, let money be my servant, not my master. Let generosity be my reflex, not my afterthought. Let wisdom be my guardrail, not my regret. When you face a tight month, craft a focused prayer for money miracle that names the exact need and the exact date. Then listen for the one instruction that often unlocks the path. Make a call, apply again, launch the offer, ask for the referral. Now, child, receive this without superstition before 11 p.m. Tonight you will feel the lift, the calm, royal certainty that says, already mine. For dominion is not noise, but authority resting on peaceful shoulders. You are moving from counting coins to counting impact, from surviving weeks to shaping years. Because the good shepherd who makes you lie down in green pastures also leads you beside still waters where your decisions are clear. So type your location because agreement matters. Bless someone else's location in the comments to break smallness, and walk forward with the owner's mindset. Heaven's endorsement is on you. Markets will notice, resources will reorganize. And when you declare, let there be over-assignments God authored, the atmosphere will obey. As you rise, keep saying it and living it. I am a channel, not a dam. I am a steward, not a slave. I move with peace, not panic. I rule with love, not pride. Every day I anchor my work with a humble, steady financial prayer. Cradle my goals in a practical prayer for money. And when the impossible stares me down, I lift a precise, faith-filled prayer for money miracle. 2 words at a time, 1 wise step at a time, all in the light of the one who wrote my name in fire. Friend, lean in and let me speak right to your heart when you dare to say, I receive. You are not reciting a slogan. You are opening the gate between what you hope for and what you live. And the promise before you is not small change, but a tide, a holy surge, a picture I'll call 36 trillion, not as a literal ledger entry, but as a vivid sign of the uncontainable. In my view, it names a realm where your life rises into freedom from debt, mastery over what once mastered you, and a peace that outlasts any market mood. So ask yourself, what if the real power here is not just in the amount, but in the identity you step into when you accept it? What if the overflow is measured not only in dollars, but in courage, clarity, and a legacy that blesses people you may never meet? And what if your consent, your yes, is the match that lights the fuse of long-dormant purpose in you? I believe that when you speak like someone authorized, I receive dominion. You align your inner weather with a clean sky, and that agreement becomes a path angels know how to walk. So let your voice be the bridge where earth meets heaven, because your words are not thin sounds, but seeds of future situations. Since you're listening right now, consider this no accident, but a gentle summons to stand up inside and claim stewardship over the very waves that once threatened to throw you off your feet. You will not drown in success. You will walk on it. You will not be swallowed by luxury. You will grow wiser than it. Yes, 36 trillion is the emblem of becoming a person who cannot be contained by fear, by scarcity, by the stories that said you were not enough. That is why the hand that gives also teaches you how to carry, so you can receive without panic, invest with insight, and release without regret. Have you noticed how, when you hold anything with fear, it turns into a heavy chain? But when you hold it with peace, it becomes a servant that carries good where you send it. If that is true, what would change in your day if every decision came from settled confidence instead of anxious grasping? Tonight, whisper your yes and feel how agreement softens the ground beneath you. Because when your heart signs the decree, instructions begin to move, networks knit themselves, doors you could not pry open swing, people feel drawn to trust you and can't explain why, and circumstances that used to slip through your fingers begin to chase you down. I call these invisible currents the recoding of your path, and they are already threading you toward right place, right time moments that look like luck but are actually alignment. Before 11 p.m., you may even feel a subtle shift within, an ancient certainty that does not depend on externals, as though your soul remembers it has ruled before. That inner crown is the truest proof that outer abundance is more a reflection than a reward. You are not trying to look rich. You are the embodied clarity from which good naturally multiplies. When your thinking blesses, creation responds. When your speech builds, results appear. When you step forward, space makes room. And if doubt leans close to ask, how can this be? Let your answer be simple. The owner of all said so. Not every holy secret needs to be argued in public. So guard the green shoots of your evidence until they become trees. Not everyone is entitled to taste your fruit before its season. I can almost hear your next question. How do I hold this? Practically start with gratitude as architecture, not etiquette, because gratitude is the bridge miracles walk across. Every thank you widens the river so it can carry more. Then shape your day with acts that match your decree. Learn what you need to learn. Show up where your calling belongs, and treat small responsibilities like a rehearsal for larger ones. In this spirit, many find it helpful to practice a daily money prayer that keeps the heart aligned with purpose. Have you tried whispering a money prayer in the quiet before sunrise, naming the kind of person you are becoming, and inviting your choices to agree with your calling? I think returning to that prayer 2 or 3 times a day keeps your mind tuned to grace rather than worry. And when worry tries to reclaim the stage, breathe and release it. Remember, seed time and harvest still stand. Give, and it will be given to you. Tuan Sukan 6:38. Generosity is not a leak in your bucket. It is a channel in your irrigation system. If you've ever felt wary of asking big, let this be your invitation to a prayer for financial miracle that is not hasty or grasping but bold and clean. A prayer for financial miracle that says, "Make me a trustworthy river, not a stagnant pond." Dominion is not hoarding resources. Dominion is becoming the resource. So ask yourself, who will be warmed by your fire? What visions will outlive your body because you chose to fund them? Your signature on the right document can ripple for generations. And your kindness to a stranger can rewrite a family's story. Now, let me speak to the mechanics of momentum, because faith is not a fog. It has patterns. Ideas arrive first as whispers. Treat them like checks waiting to be cashed. Carve time to capture them, name them, and prototype them. Look for the threefold confirmation of concept, character, and community. Does the idea solve a real need? Does it fit who you are becoming? And is there a small circle that believes with you enough to test it? Meanwhile, Pay exquisite attention to the quiet nudges that position you for introductions, learning curves, and strategic partnerships. Often these come as a nudge to email someone, refine a pitch, or get your numbers into order. It may feel unfair to outsiders when favor finds you, but favor is not random. It gathers around integrity, diligence, and aligned intention. If you have practiced the law of attraction, you already know how focus magnetizes outcomes. But let me add this. The law of attraction is most potent when braided with service, because what you radiate for others comes back multiplied. What would happen if you measured your week not only by what you gained, but by how many people prospered because of your presence? That reframing, in my experience, is the secret engine of sustainable increase and the surest way to keep your heart light even as responsibilities grow. Opportunity will begin to knock, but you remain the gatekeeper. Select partnerships that honor your values. Decline short-term deals that require long-term soul payments, and structure your endeavors so transparency is the default and accountability is welcomed. Over time, this builds a reputation that precedes you, so that decision-makers feel an inexplicable trust the first time your name crosses their desk. They may say, "This is the one," and they won't even know that what they're sensing is the fragrance of your preparation. As for fear about losing what you gain, let's rewrite that script now. What you once feared losing, you will learn to command to grow. Think of your resources as cultivable, pruned, diversified, and sown intentionally, so that even in tightening seasons, your orchard stays alive. In prayer, ask the Holy One to breathe authority into your skill set, the authority to create, to multiply, to sustain, and anchor your hope with this promise: I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Jeremiah 29:11. Receive that not as passivity, but as an assignment to co-labor. In that spirit, I like to keep a short, steady rhythm each day: a minute of stillness, a minute of gratitude, a minute of speaking my goals aloud, and a minute of action planning. Try it for a week and notice how it trains your attention to expect good and to move toward it. And while we're here, let's set the soul tone for the night. Before 11 p.m., pause to feel the weight of covenant, the sense that your story is being rewritten from survival to stewardship. Say out loud, I receive dominion, not from ego, but from responsibility. Ask, who else gets lifted if I rise? Who learns to hope by watching me? And when the first checks clear and the first doors open, keep your gratitude loud, your motives clean, your systems simple, and your generosity strategic. As your influence expands, speak gently to those who doubt, and save your deepest explanations for those committed to the work. That is how we keep the treasure from being trampled and the pearls from being mishandled. Now, one more practical alignment if you are using the law of attraction. Tie it to daily service. Offer value first, document the outcomes, and let the testimony sell what you do. The law of attraction is not magic. It is disciplined attention in the direction of purpose, and purpose draws provision the way a lighthouse draws ships. Meanwhile, keep returning to a money prayer that centers your motives, and keep a simple 2-line journal entry each evening: what provision found me today, and how did I send it back into the world better than I found it over weeks? That record becomes a map of your multiplication. And as you move, keep your language aligned with your identity. No more, I'm just trying to get by, but I'm practicing dominion with humility and joy, because language is a steering wheel. In that same vein, if you have been waiting for permission, hear this as your release. Then test it by doing one brave, measurable thing in the next 24 hours. Apply, propose, refine, or launch, even if in a small way. Momentum loves honesty and motion. And through it all, honor the source. Say the name of God in quiet reverence as you plan and as you give, and let God be both your blueprint and your breath, because without God at the center of the work becomes heavy and hollow. Finally, let me leave you with this personal conviction. I don't believe you were led here by accident, and I don't believe you were born to bow to scarcity. I believe you were crafted to steward extravagant good with a calm hand. And I believe the sign of 36 trillion is your reminder that your life is meant to overflow. So, will you agree? Will you allow your inner world to be aligned first, so the outer can follow? Will you stop auditioning for worthiness and step into the role that was written with your name on it? Breathe, whisper your yes, and walk forward. The river is already widening beneath your feet. Tonight, as the world slows down and silence begins to settle around you, something divine is preparing to enter your atmosphere. It is not just calm, it is confirmation. This peace you feel deep within your chest is not ordinary. It is supernatural evidence that heaven has already processed your request. Though your bank balance may not yet show it, in the invisible realm, the transaction has been approved. The angels assigned to oversee your financial flow have already received their orders. They are standing guard around you right now, adjusting schedules, accelerating paperwork, unlocking vaults, and moving divine resources into your path. As it is written in Philippians 4:19, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus." So when you feel that strange stillness tonight, know it's not emptiness. It's a divine transfer of peace that precedes abundance. My beloved, you were never created to be average. You were not born to spend your days serving debt, worrying about rent, or counting coins in fear. You are a vessel of divine abundance, designed to mirror the wealth and generosity of heaven here on earth. The 36 trillion is not just a number, it is a mantle, a symbol of heavenly responsibility and influence. Carry it with humility, distribute it with love, and protect it with wisdom. For the one who calls you blessed walks beside you. God says in Deuteronomy 8:18, "Remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the power to get wealth." So stand tall tonight, take a deep breath, and declare with authority, "I accept my dominion." Speak it 3 times until it burns in your spirit. Each repetition is not just sound, it is a contract signed in the unseen. And when you do, you will begin to notice signs. A number, a message, a sudden idea that whisper to your heart, heaven has heard your financial prayer. Before the clock strikes 11 p.m., expect movement, a sign of approval, a shift in the air, an unexpected message, something that says clearly, the vault has opened, because indeed it has. When God releases abundance, he doesn't only shift your finances, he shifts your environment. You see, wealth is not just about money, it's about alignment. When divine wealth arrives, people and energies that do not match your calling begin to fall away. Do not mourn them. Some relationships fade not because of loss, but because heaven is clearing the air around you. The subtraction is preparation for multiplication. As Proverbs 13:20 reminds us, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. So when you notice calls stopping or connections ending, don't panic. It is divine editing at work, making room for those who will walk beside you in faith and purpose. Not everyone who started with you was designed to stay for your dominion. Some were assigned to your beginning, not your breakthrough. There are people who applauded your struggle but secretly envied your potential. God, who sees the motives of the heart, is removing them with precision, for your next level requires pure air. The palace cannot host gossip, it can only host grace. But as he removes the counterfeit, he releases the covenantal. Expect new connections, visionaries, mentors, and helpers who will recognize your worth even before it becomes visible. They will not be drawn to your status but to your spirit. When you meet them, something deep within will whisper, "This one was sent by God." Trust that voice, for it is the Holy Spirit confirming your next divine partnership. You have outgrown rooms that only talk about dreams but never fund them. Now you're entering a season of manifestation, where words carry contracts and faith signs checks. This is the realm where your prayer for money miracle begins to unfold into tangible blessings, where divine strategy meets earthly action. You will no longer be the silent observer in circles of power. Instead, your words will carry weight. You will be quoted, honored, and sought after. True dominion is not noisy, it is magnetic. You will notice how your presence begins to shift atmospheres before you even speak. That is the power of divine favor. God is not only enriching your resources, but also reshaping how others perceive you. Those who once underestimated you will now seek your counsel. Some who turned away will return, not to mock, but to learn. And in that moment, remember you are the lender now, not the borrower. Respond not with pride, but with grace, for the hallmark of divine kingship is to bless those who once doubted you. You are now being taught the sacred language of wealth. It's not loud, it's strategic. The world doesn't need to hear every plan God gives you. Speak less, build more. Let your results echo louder than your announcements. God is hiding you in plain sight, not to punish you, but to protect you. When others rush to impress the crowd, you will move quietly with purpose. When they chase applause, you will be building legacies. This is your season to move with divine discipline. In Luke 16:10, Jesus said, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." Your obedience is the proof that heaven can trust you with abundance. Every act of faith, every step of generosity, every whispered financial prayer is setting the stage for miracles beyond your calculation. Expect divine encounters before the night ends. It may come through a text, a new idea, or a voice you didn't plan to hear. Do not overthink it. Your spirit will know. This is how God orchestrates destiny. He aligns moments that seem random, but are loaded with meaning. Remember, this 36 trillion decree isn't just about money, it's about responsibility. You are being given the heart of a builder, the vision of a steward, and the courage of a lion. Wealth is not the end. It's a tool for purpose. Use it to uplift, to give, to bless. When God instructs you to give, do it quickly. When He sends someone to bless you, receive them with honor. This is how divine flow operates. It moves through relationships built on trust and gratitude. Your prayer for money miracle is not a plea, it's a partnership. God is not a distant giver. He is a co-creator in your prosperity. He whispers strategy in your stillness. So tonight, as you sit quietly, listen. The next call, the next opportunity, the next message might be your ignition point. Don't dismiss small beginnings. Every great ocean begins with a drop. That subtle shift, that approval email, that unexpected gift, it carries the vibration of a miracle in motion. When it happens, smile and say, "Transaction verified." Because heaven doesn't deal in delay, it deals in divine timing. Beloved, you are stepping out of isolation into influence. Your name is being whispered in rooms where decisions are made, and your story is being discussed among those who can elevate your destiny. The things others chase will begin to chase you. This is not luck. It's the result of your faith, your obedience, and your perseverance. As Isaiah 60:22 declares, "When the time is right, the Lord, will make it happen." So lift your eyes tonight and say, "Lord, I receive the overflow, because the decree of 36 trillion has already been written in heaven's ledger. You are not waiting for approval. It has already been stamped. The only thing left is manifestation. What was whispered in your prayer for money will echo in your reality. What was hidden in your dreams will appear in your daily life. Doors will open, numbers will align, and ideas will be funded. The current of manifestation has already begun. And this time, you won't just witness it, you will walk in it. So breathe, beloved. The peace you feel tonight is not just comfort, it's confirmation. The vault has opened. Before 11 p.m., you will feel an internal confirmation. Peace that feels like movement, stillness that hums with power. That is the sound of heaven processing your release. My hand is on your paperwork, my breath in your meetings, my favor in every transaction. I am removing confusion from your numbers and replacing it with clarity, precision, and expansion. When this wealth begins to manifest, stay grounded in gratitude. Gratitude stabilizes acceleration. For those who remember, the source will never run dry. Say often, "It is the Lord who multiplies me, because as you honor me publicly, I will defend you privately." Remember, I did not call you into financial noise, but into financial influence. You will not brag. You will be blessed. You will not flaunt. You will fund. The mark of dominion is discretion. Your evidence will speak louder than any announcement. Nations will know you are blessed, but they will not know how. That mystery will guard your peace. Watch carefully. Between now and the moment the clock strikes 11 p.m., you are my chosen representative of the divine economy on earth, and your hands have become extensions of my generosity. Every motion of your life now multiplies light. Stand still for one final moment before the clock reaches 11 p.m. Breathe deeply and whisper, "It is finished. My chains are gone. My dominion has begun." The heavens echo it as truth, and the earth will soon mirror it as fact. iPhone, if you receive this covenant of divine permanence, comment, "Chains gone below." For that phrase is not just an agreement. It is your announcement to the spirit realm that every limitation has been dissolved, every gate has been opened, and every promise has been fulfilled.